can hear you.
That's no, Jeff. That's some nonsense because I suck at this, Jeff. They can hear me on your side. They can't hear me on my side. So my bad. We good to go.
There's no audio on Voch side.
I just come. You know how like pre-show I cut down the audio to make sure we don't like cancel ourselves and shit.
Yeah.
To make sure we don't. Hey, look, everybody on my side.
Shout out to the people on my side paying money to tell Voch that he can't hear on his side. Thank you, Jet Jack.
Lavish
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Michael Keith. I appreciate you guys.
Appreciate y'all. I wonder, Jeff, who gets the most views, like who gets the best algorithm thing if people watching two streams at the same time, like they're watching me and they're watching you, but they're listening to me through you, but they're reading my lips through me. Who gets that algorithm boost?
I don't know, and I just want to thank Jay Brandon Singh for super chatting as well early today. O-liner Captain Trade Down. I'm gonna have a new line of Captain Trade Down T-shirts coming out this year. Even if I don't know if I even want to be Captain Trade Down, I will have merch this year.
Volume good. Thanks. Anyway, yeah, I was just talking about the top 3 offensive tackles. And to be fair, most of my chat box is probably here for Cowboy takes anyway. We ain't getting none of these dudes, to be fair, anyway. But I do think a dude that's in range, in my opinion, that may not be in range in others' opinion, Jeff. Let's talk about Tyler Linderbaum, sir. Let's just talk about him, Jeff. What did you think of him when you first looked at him?
So on Linderbaum,
while you pulling your notes up,
I don't know. No, I don't know. I don't need my notes.
Okay, go ahead.
I haven't seen enough players to need to go to notes yet.
Okay, gotcha.
Like I have notes, but I don't need them because I've only seen 11 dudes, so I remember them all very well.
For sure.
I think Linderbaum's going to be the best center in the NFL in 2 or 3 years. That's what I think. Okay. I think Linderbaum could be, and this is, again, you're right about this. A lot of people suck at drafting. A lot of people disagree on how good players are. So, like, I'm not going to sit here and say that the center is 100% going to be gone by 24.
For sure.
But if he's not, then to me, it's no decision. It doesn't matter who else is on the board. I'm picking Tyler Linderbaum because he is, like, he's not a giant, right? He's 292, 296 pounds or whatever, but that's center size.
Sure.
And he is just so smooth. Mm-hmm. He is so awesome at assignment football.
Yes.
He never misses with his hands.
Yes.
He's an incredible athlete.
Reach blocking. Mm-hmm.
The only thing I don't see from him yet is great power. But whatever, like, that's going to come. And I think he's going to be the best center in football in 2 or 3 years, unless Creed Humphrey's just incredible forever.
Yeah. So, and you know what? That was a kind of like I wasn't always on that take at first, but the more I think about it, O-line sucks. So he may be the best center in football. I don't know. I'm relatively a young scout in this thing, Jeff. I've been doing this for like 4 or 5 years or something like that, but I think I'm better than a lot of those.
You hate Linderbaum, don't you?
No, Jeff. No.
You hate Linderbaum?
No, Jeff. No. If you escuchen, por favor. Listen. So what I've learned as a scout, just every year I learn something new, is I got to learn to not listen to other people's expectations when I'm drafting, because I may end up hating somebody. So I'm watching Linderbaum, and I saw something on Twitter, and the first person in my chat said it also. It was like, it's going to be Quentin Nelson at center. And I'm like, man, dog, like, I seen Quentin Nelson movies, man. Like, we just can't put Quentin Nelson pressure on regular humans like this. You know what I mean? So I can't, if I go into watching, and y'all too, if y'all go into watching Tyler Linderbaum thinking that he's Quentin Nelson at center, you might be let down. But if you watch him as Tyler, is it Linderbaum or Lindenbaum?
It's an R.
Linderbaum. Linder. If you go into watching Tyler,
don't go in expecting a whole bunch of power. Just go in to watch a football play.
If you go in watching Tyler Linderbaum, you'll love him. But if you go in with the expectations that Twitter puts on him, you might not feel great about it, because you'll go in there watch him expecting, all right, let's go maul somebody. And he's not going to maul nobody. He's not going to do that. But he's a very efficient, I love what you said, assignment football dude. Now, I don't know how many teams nowadays don't run zone. Zone seems to be the gold standard nowadays. But if you're going to run some zone stuff, let that dude go out there and reach people. Let that dude go out there and combo folks. Let that dude go out there and block on the second level and not miss. Let that dude, those down blocks, those super technique blocks, those short pull up. Let him do that stuff. You know what I mean? But if you want him to line up and maul people, I don't think Tyler Linderbaum is going to be that dude for you. And that's what I think, we have to stop and figure out our expectations.
I got a different guy if you want to maul people, by the way. I mean, just if you want a mauler on the offensive line, you just want to push people around, I got somebody for you.
I got somebody for you too. Who is your mauler?
Kenyon Green.
Texas
A&M.
Okay, so Dane Brugler's making me watch him. I will watch him soon. You know who you need to watch who mauls the shit out? Ikeem Ikwamu.
Well, I already know that. Everybody tells me he's the most punishing run blocking tackle in the world.
But this the problem though, Jeff. He has no clue how to play football just yet. He just know how to line up and just tribally smoke the shit out of people, which makes that trifecta of tackles so strange and weird. I can't wait to hear your take on it or whatever. But as far as Tyler Linderbaum, you know, with the hype of him, you would assume that he's going to be like a top type of guy. I can see Tyler Linderbaum falling to 24 for two different reasons. One, I think teams overthink shit like this. Two, you know, he's an interior offensive lineman. He's great. He's going to be really, really good on the next level. But interior dudes tend to fall a little bit. And the most important lesson I can tell anybody, for the people in my chat, for the people in yours, these National Football Team front office people, they suck at drafting. So Tyler Linderbaum is a guy that you shouldn't double, triple think about. Just go draft that dude. Somebody's going to be like position value, and he's going to drop. He could be there at 24. Get your money, Jeff.
I'm just saying shout out to Soto Man, who is a member of the Jeff Kavanaugh YouTube community.
I'm starting to
appreciate that. And the super chat. Soto Man, thank you very much. Yeah, Linderbaum for me is just run it up to the podium. I don't care who else is there. Yeah. He'll probably be I mean, I've only seen 11 dudes. For sure. And I haven't seen a lot of different positions, but I wouldn't be shocked if he was one of my top 8 or 10 players. I wouldn't be shocked at all. He's a baller. You're the one who taught me. What is it? The NFL. What do they do? Something about the peanut butter and
that program, that magical offseason thing that makes Neville Gallimore go from a relatively big dude to a trash can, but he can still move fast. That offseason peanut butter that just blows people up. Linderbaum.
Offseason peanut butter will have Tyler Linderbaum be a perfect damn player. It's gonna be great.
Let me ask you a question, sir. So Creed Humphrey was not a first round pick. And I remember Creed Humphrey's Oklahoma tape being immaculate, especially his freshman sophomore year when he had Cody Ford and Ben Powers and Drew Samia, all those characters on his line or whatever. Creed got some dastardly ass, you know what I'm saying, tape or whatever. So right, so compare Creed Humphrey's best tape to Tyler Linderbaum's best tape. Like, just compare those guys.
Well, that's messed up because you're going to require me to have a memory. Like, I had to look back. I will say the one thing that I remember is that Creed Humphrey tested as like an elite of the elite athlete.
Sure.
Which is like not surprising when you watch his tape. He was a great athlete, and Linderbaum on tape is an incredible athlete, but like he won't test like Creed Humphrey did.
Sure.
I just feel like if you are looking for a mistake on Tyler Linderbaum's tape, when you find it, let me know.
For sure.
Like, just when you find it, let me know. There's just a level of consistency there that is, like, it's every play.
For sure.
Every play. If a guy's supposed to be cut off, he'll be cut off. He's supposed to be turned out, he'll be turned out. If it's supposed to be a double up to the second level, it's getting done. The only thing that I don't promise is that he's going to bury somebody in the turf, but he is going to do his job on every single play.
You know who's going to test super stupid athletically? Ikeem Ikwamu.
I think Cross will too. I went and saw him today. I went and saw Big Duke Manyweather.
Yeah.
He trains a bunch of these dudes. Cross is up there. Evan Neal's up there.
Yeah.
Penning is up there.
Well, that's the funny thing about Cross. He could be super athletic, but we'll never see it because he kick slides slowly like he's salsa dancing. So
and he stands he starts weird with one knee cocked off to the side.
I've never seen that before. It's like every time I watch like a new year of lineman, I see a new technique I've never seen before. I've never seen the slow, methodical salsa dance before. But it's interesting because once Charles Cross, I don't want to say get into trouble, but once he gets engaged, then his feet go, right? He's just very patient off the line of scrimmage. You do need patience, but I have never seen salsa dance level. I'm barely moving my feet. Then when we engage, boom, 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 boom. I was saying early on my stream or whatever that Mississippi State used to be like a whole factory for left tackles. Like every year almost, they'll just have a brand new left tackle coming out.
Oh, wait, no, wait. You said Ole Miss or Mississippi State?
Mississippi State.
Okay, yeah, I forget any of their guys.
I mean, they're easy to forget. And it's been a minute, but they're. I think the kid in Green Bay was the last one. The dude to play all the positions. Elton Jacobs was the last one.
Oh yeah, he's a baller.
Yeah. But they used to put out linemen like this, and that's one of their staples, man. The big, patient, long arm dudes. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why I keep doing this dumb shit here.
You like the salsa. You like the salsa. I like that we see these guys kind of similar because like Cross initially in my tape watching, I was like, oh, that's probably not a top 10 player. Like his slide isn't clean, his punches aren't always there, but it reminds me of, and it's a totally different position. I remember when Frank Ragnow was at Arkansas.
For sure.
And I was watching his tape, and I'm like, my God, like he misses with his hands all the time.
Yeah.
He's not, and yet by the end of the play, you're like, oh, but he blocked them easy. Like Cross is the same thing, where a lot of the things I'm like, well, I missed the punch. The dude got into his pads. His slide didn't look all that smooth or athletic, but then you're like, okay, but what happened on the play? And the answer is, oh, he won easy.
Well, see, Jeff, I tell you why though, Jeff. And here's another technique that I've learned scouting. Sometimes you can't watch all these players together. Like you can't watch all offensive line together, because what's going to happen is if you really like Evan Neal and Ikeem is a super athlete and he's exploding people, by the time you watch Charlie's slow, methodical ass, you're going to go, man, this dude suck. So what you got to do is you got to put Charlie down and come back and watch Charlie after you watch some cornerbacks like some ends or some shit. And then you can properly assess Charlie Cross or whatever.
He'll outrun Neal at the combine, I bet you, just because I watched them both running today. The thing about Evan Neal is that to me it's his flexibility, right?
Yeah.
He's such a giant, but he's still getting under people and off balance, torquing. And when they're even warming up, like everybody else's knees come up to about 90 degrees and his go about to 180. And I'm just like, God, that's a flexible giant.
Yo, Jeff, you know who's super flexible for a big ass Ikeem? Jeff! Watch him!
Just call him Icky. Just call him Icky.
I
That's
refuse.
What they're calling him.
I refuse. Hey Jeff, since we're friends and shit, that means I can come and see you and we can go see people together, right? If we're friends.
Yeah, for sure.
Hell yeah, Jeff.
Yeah, I'll get you out there with Big Duke is a beast, dude. Duke Manyweather on Twitter. O-line Masterminds. Yeah. He'll let you out there.
Hell yeah, Jeff, I'm coming with you. All right, go ahead and read your stuff. I'm about to pull mine up.
Oh yeah, just Eric wanted to say keep up the good work. Eric, we appreciate you. Nick, don't forget about kickers this year. I mean, if you find me a kicker, you just let me know. I'm not going to scout him, Nick, but I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you being here. And Lamont, I am familiar with Minnesota's giant right tackle. I ain't watched him yet, but I am familiar, and he is supposedly a pretty darn good prospect. And then Jaded Jake, I'm unimpressed with Penning. Afraid of contact, missed the second level. I haven't seen Penning yet, but I did see him live this morning. I saw him this morning. He's the one dude out of that offensive line group. When they run, when you run, you're running. Yeah. Penning runs like they're running inside zone, even when he's running. Like he's always
as dedicated to the craft, man. As dedicated to the craft. I'm about to read these supers, Jeff, and I want you to tell me about your fella from Texas A&M that Dane mocked us, and it sounds like he's a Ron Leary type character. So, DJ's World sent 5 and says no sound. Lavish D sent 5 and says Voch making us lip read. Appreciate y'all. JP Does Things dropped 5 and says thank y'all for the football talk tonight. For real, stay safe. Salute. Young Wilson, aloha, says okay, just won a great O-line again. Thanks again. Aloha. Salute to you, my guy. DJ's World dropped a 100. I ain't got my sound set up, but workout. Nah. He says, better prospect, Linderbaum or Frederick?
Linderbaum.
I got a nuanced answer for that.
Linderbaum.
Because we have a lot of Cowboys people. Secondly, if you had to choose between returning you asked this on Jeff's show, man. Come on, man. Be original. He says
that man, what did he drop? Answer his question.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Ask another question, DJ. He says, if you had to choose between returning the O-line to 2014-16 level or 2 more Michael Parsons level characters, which do you choose? So as far as the Linderbaum versus Frederick question, we're talking about prospects. Frederick.
Do you think that he's going to be an all-pro, but although I kind of do.
Yeah. Frederick was an amazing NFL player. He wasn't all that at Wisconsin. He developed into that quickly, mind you, but he was definitely a better pro than a prospect. Linderbaum is a damn good prospect, so I hope that answers your question. And as far as the 2014-2016 Dallas O-line or two more Parsons level players, it's so interesting. I think Dave was really quick to say O-line on the show yesterday. This is my only pushback on that. I can find you offensive linemen if I draft well. How many 250-pound 4.3 running linebackers that can pass rush like Von Miller can you find? And you get 3 of them?
You can find like 2 of them. It's Von Miller and it's Micah Parsons.
But Von Miller can't cover wide receivers, man. It's different. There's levels.
Yeah.
There's levels.
Yeah.
So give me the 3. Give me that Sam, Mike, and Will line, and we'll never leave base formation. Never. We'll cover all the formations you got. Go ahead, Jeff. Tell us about Ron Leary. I mean, the Texas A&M kid, so I can watch him later.
Oh, Kenyon Green?
Green, yes.
Yeah, so I was watching him today. He played so this year for A&M because of injury and lack of good players, I guess. I don't know. On the offensive line, he played left tackle, right tackle, left guard, right guard, and he kicked ass at all of them.
Sound like Elton Jacobs, but go ahead.
He's like 6'4", 325, and he's got the really like thick lower body.
Sure.
Strong as shit in the lower body.
Sure.
And but also, like, in my notes somewhere is the word like squat lower body, but he's also easy bend to like get down in his stance, to get up underneath somebody and deliver a blow.
Okay.
So to me, he's going to be a guard. And to me, he's going to be a guard that if he was at number 24 overall, you'd be happy as hell. Like, he's going to be a bully in the trenches, but he's got good enough feet to mirror the pass rush. Kenyon Green is good.
Green or Dean? N'Kobe Dean.
I'm going to go. I love them both. I'll probably go Green because I'll take an offensive lineman over the linebacker.
So Green over Jordan Davis also?
Yes. Jordan Davis I struggle with because, like, I get the value of wanting to stop the – like, I want to do what San Francisco did, right? They got 4 dudes on the line there. We can stop your run with 4 guys. That's all we need.
Sure.
So I get the appeal of Jordan Davis, but I just think that pass rush is so important and he's not going to bring any. That if they took him at 24, I'd go, I'm cool with this because I know what he is.
Sure.
But an offensive lineman is playing on every down.
Fair enough, brother Jeff. Fair enough.
You love Jordan Davis? Do you love him?
Well, I mean, depends on what you say love. Like, if I'm only using him for what I'm using him for, I love Jordan Davis. But like,
I love what he does at his job.
I
want their sophomore D tackle number 88. I forgot Jalen Carter. I want him next year. He's gonna go in the freaking top 5.
I really love Jordan Davis at 60, whatever we pick. If he's there at 60 something, I love Jordan Davis at 60 something. Sure, 100%. Did you have any other players that you wanted to highlight before we get into Cowboy needs and shit?
Let me see real quick. George Karlaftis, Purdue defensive end. If he's there at 24, I like that pick too. I saw him out at Exos the other day working out, and as I'm watching him work out with DeMarvin Leal and Jermaine Johnson from Florida State and all these like athletic defensive linemen, I was like, oh, he's stiff. But I hadn't watched his tape yet.
Yeah.
I came home and watched his tape, and I was like, huh.
Yeah.
Because that dude is just a ball of power and shock in his hands and moving through people. And I'm like, he may not run a good 3-cone, but he could play on my damn team. I tell you that. George Karlaftis. Purdue D end. I'll take him.
So you watched him, but on this show, we never got your take about the first couple of pass rush guys that are on the list. So have you watched?
I hadn't seen him.
So you chose to watch Karlaftis.
I chose to watch the guys I saw at Exos because I'd watched them in person, and I was like, let me see what the tape looks like because I already had an idea on them now that I've seen them, and I'm standing there 5 feet away watching them go through drills, and I'm like, okay, now let me see what the tape is like and if it matches what I think I'm looking at now.
See, Jeff, you're only in this for the Cowboy side, man. I'm trying to be an all-inclusive draft program here, man. You just in it for the come on.
This is not just for the Cowboys. I'm gonna watch those dudes. I'm doing random order this year. I ain't trying to go top down. I'm going all over the place. I might do the Senior Bowl rosters before I watch Aiden Hutchinson.
You better not do unless he's on the Senior Bowl roster, which I think he should be. Cool. Let's get into some Cowboy stuff. I wanted to wait a little bit, man, because Cowboy fans still like crybaby and this shit. So I wanted to like wait around before I Let me do it, Jeff. I will gladly talk shit about Cowboy fans. I know
Go ahead.
you know
Yeah,
when you doing your thing, you probably shouldn't. It's not all Cowboy fans, but you know
I can talk shit about whoever I want. I talk shit about our fan texters every day, poisonous bastards. That's why I stay in the Twitch. Hey, people on Twitch, I love you. People who text into the show, 81% of you are poison and you need therapy.
So yeah, whatever. So yeah, Cowboy fans can get a little crybaby. Cowboy YouTubers with they soft ass can be crybabies too, but it is what it is.
Who's that at? I need to know.
Well, some little scrub that I ain't even finna say his channel on the Immaculate Scoutcast, sir. I'll send you a text later on. But he's already been marked out. Don't worry about it. But so we're talking about.
You're talking that way about Sky.
I love Sky, but Sky get on my nerves too. Foots get on my nerves too. Listen, so Cowboy stuff. Cowboy. What do you think the priorities here, Brother Jeff, moving into the offseason? I mean, it's kind of too soon to talk about free agency or whatever, so let's just assume, we just don't sign no damn body. It should be like in basketball where we change the order, where we do it afterwards or whatever, but it ain't. Yeah. So tell me just generally what you're looking for in the draft. I know best player available seems to be the move, but there is a direction you want to go into. Tell me that direction.
Right. So with the understanding that when you get there, if the best player available would not be totally blocked on the team, I'll take him. I guess the way I would view it is through the lens of who do I hope is the best player available, or what position do I hope is the best player available when they get on the clock?
For sure.
If it were Kenyon Green or Linderbaum, like if it's a center or a guy that I think I'm going to plug in at left guard that is the best player available, I'm really happy.
For sure.
If the best player available is a linebacker who can either blitz his nuts off or cover his nuts off, I'm interested because I want Micah Parsons rushing a lot, and I do want Jabril Cox to play next year, but I think you still need another one. You can always use more corners. You can always use more edge guys because they're valuable positions. The wild card is receiver, because what's going to happen? Like, there's enough smoke about maybe Amari won't be on this team next year, and if he's not, if you don't bring back any of your free agents, the receiver room is CeeDee Lamb and Simi Fehoko. That's the receiver room. So I think receiver is the wild card.
Yeah. I do think that we should continue to invest in offense just to get back on. I think the offense is fine. I just think, Kellen laid a big-ass egg at the end of this thing. We ain't got to get too deep into it. But I would still like to keep the offense a strength. Now, I don't think Brother Dan going to be here. You know what I'm saying? If he is, we're going to celebrate in the streets. But I think we should put talent on defense, like just fill that thing with talent, because if Dan's not there, Dan had the ability to turn shit into sugar. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if Joe Wick can turn shit into sugar, or George Edwards, or some other miscellaneous guy that we bring in. You know what I mean? So I would like for whoever our defensive coach is, I would like for our defensive talent to overcome that. I think we're going to be fine on offense regardless, because it doesn't take a rocket scientist to get that thing done. You know what I mean? So in my mind, I feel like we should draft offensive line every year. That's my first priority in general, whether it be, first team guy, swing guy. It just happens that we need first team levels. But if you think about how offensive linemen are drafted, tackles normally are the ones that go throughout the entire first round. Guards normally fall till day 2. So if you can get a guard that you really, really like on day 2, I think that's beneficial. And try to get one of these studs that slip between the cracks that fall to you at 24, preferably on defense. I would like to address D-line, because Tristan Hill is not a guy. He looks so small compared to when you look at Neville or whatever. I don't think Tristan Hill is going to be a guy that's going to be around very much, and we see how exhausted Osa was when we didn't have help. So, if we can get a body to, fill that in, it doesn't have to be Jordan Davis, but just anybody that's possibly the best D-line dude that's possibly there. Cool. If you like, if there's a DN that you like, that you can, mix up with Chauncey or whatever. Basham probably got one more year. Dorrance year is up. I don't know if we're going to bring him back. And D-Law might be a contract dude that you may be trying to save $20 however $1 million. I think he's incredible, but I think we should very much so focus on defense and continue to build around Micah and make that thing a strength.
Yeah, I mean, I think even if you had the right safety available, and I don't know if we're even talking about the first round necessarily, like Notre Dame's Kyle Hamilton ain't going to be there, but I think Dane mocked Brisker, the Penn State safety, like in the second round.
I hate that name.
Safety, I kind of like the name Brisker because it's like brisket.
I hate it more now.
Oh, okay.
I hate it more now.
Yeah, must not have had a good brisket then.
I love brisket. Burn ends.
So yeah, like corner's not a need, but I don't know if that would stop me from taking one. If like Sauce Gardner or somebody who kicks ass is sitting there at 24, I'd be like, oh no, now I've got to put Joseph on the field and Diggs, and I got another guy, and I can start pushing other people out the door. Oh no, it's tough. I could always take a corner. I could always take an edge guy. I'm very interested in offensive line. I'm interested in linebacker. I wonder what the tackles will look like at 24, because that's the one that I think becomes confusing because, like, yeah, you can't necessarily count on Tyron. I think Tyron struggled against San Francisco coming off of COVID.
That's
what I think happened. But are you trying to replace him? And if you use a first rounder, are you going to have him watch for a year? Like, I just, unless he can play guard too, I don't know.
But see, Jeff, this is my thing though. In my mind, true top tackles don't fall like that, man. You know, you can fall. You can find some positions late in the first round, but it's already hard enough to find offensive line in general. I know we named 3 guys we're excited about, but just based on averages, one of them gonna suck. That's just how life is. But they're gonna over prioritize tackles. So even the whack tackles, I ain't gonna call them whack.
Even Penning, like we talked about Icky that you've seen.
He'll get overdrafted.
You saw Evan Neal.
He'll get overdrafted.
Charles Cross.
He'll get overdrafted.
And I believe Penning is the 4th one. I bet 4 are gone by the time you get to 24. I bet they're all gone.
Sure.
It's just a matter of how many are there, because it does look like a really good offensive line year.
Sure.
I bet Kenyon Green's going to be there. I'm getting zeroed in on a dude on January 20th, trying to pick my left guard.
But I also think he can be there in the 60s for you, though, Jeff. That's just how I feel about guard and how the league drafts. Like he's
gonna be the first one, though.
Like
he's gonna be the first one.
We do this every year where we reset draft season and we just all of a sudden think that the league can draft now. Teams suck at it. Look, one of these good linebackers, these good guards, these good receivers, they gonna fall, brother Jeff. I'm telling you, man, it just happens every year.
You're right.
Let me
ask you this.
Please ask me first.
Because I've said I said it, but we didn't really flesh it out at all.
Please.
You interested in like Jamison Williams at 24?
Who's
wide
that?
receiver. He's an Alabama receiver, the burner.
Okay,
They're number 1 that scored all the touchdowns, but he tore his ACL in the title game. But we haven't watched all these guys yet, right? So it's like, hey, where other people think he's going to go is like 15 to 25.
So,
if you got a wide receiver you love, you good with one in the first?
So let's do this, brother Jeff. I'll just go by rumors that I've heard so far and just general draft, whatever. If I heard that this is a really good wide receiver class, and if the Jameson kid is cool and you're a team that's in the middle of the draft and you have an opportunity to draft Jameson that you like or another receiver that's healthy right now that you like, I think the Jameson kid might fall simply because there's a lot of wide receivers that somebody might take over the ACL guy. And like somebody called him lazy. Like, didn't you call him lazy, or somebody in my chat called him lazy or something like that?
Jameson?
Is he lazy? Maybe, possibly.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, cool.
Maybe it was somebody. I mean, but I also don't know. Like,
fair enough.
I don't have an Alabama insider that I've talked to. I don't know if he is or not. I know the dude freaking flies.
Fair enough. I think he's a guy that might be around for you. But the general idea of your question is, am I opposed to taking wide receiver? No. I'm not opposed to it because, I don't think Gallup's going to be around. I think, if anything, we're going to try to throw like a bag of chips at Cedric Wilson and hope he comes back. Then there's the Cooper news that's been coming, but I don't know that little shit. You know what I'm saying? But if it's a guy that we like, I'm not opposed to taking wide receiver, late in the first round or whatever. But, let me ask you this, Jeff, and I've asked you this already, but we get new audience members all the time. And, I think it's I might get a different answer from you because we have some additional context now. So we know that Jabril Cox was a player when we was watching him in college. He was a player that can play safety, more so box safety. He can play safety and linebacker for you. When we watched Jaron Kearse, the more the season went on, we saw much more of him playing linebacker, you know what I'm saying? Linebacker, nickel corner, safety stuff. Now, I asked you this earlier. I just want, for the new people or whatever. I sincerely believe, Brother Jeff, that if we can get a linebacker that we like to go along with Micah Parsons, I don't think we just stop playing nickel at that point. I think that'll be a perfect time to insert Jabril Cox as, hey, if we can't sign J-Ron Curse, he's next J-Ron Curse guy. Linebacker, nickel, strong safety dude. You know, just tell me what you think about that, Jeff. You know, just tell me what you think about that, Jeff.
I think I want him to play linebacker.
Because if Nakobe Dean gets here, that's ball game, right? The first round linebacker, he takes over the fourth round dude, correct?
Yes, but I also want Micah Parsons to be rushing the passer a ton. So I think I can figure it out with all three of them. I think I can leave them on the field and have Parsons as a fourth rusher some downs, fifth rusher some downs, linebacker some downs.
You don't want Micah playing linebacker, but whatever.
My problem is I don't want Micah playing linebacker. Except if you play San Francisco or somebody.
That motherfucker was the best. He was the best on the field. He was the only thing to smile about.
Yeah. You play somebody who wants to hand the ball off all the time, sure. I want him chasing people around. Yeah. I think in my world, what I want is more so like a safety that I think can play a deep half at least. Because in my world, I want my defense to play kind of like San Francisco's, but maybe more cover 2 than cover 4, but whatever. Where I'm playing coverage, I can win at the line of scrimmage, and if I'm playing that with a 2 deep safety, I don't think Jabril Cox is that kind of athlete.
No.
Now, if you're talking about big nickel. Or a down safety, sure. But I think I want him playing linebacker because if he's a linebacker, he's a great cover guy.
Sure.
If he's a safety, I don't know, he might be okay.
Yeah. There's another linebacker that's going to go pretty early. I haven't watched him yet, but just, you know, I'm just paying attention to the hype in the mock drafts or whatever. But the kid from Utah, Devin Lloyd. That character. Haven't watched him yet, but I just see him high up in Dane's mock draft or whatever. And, I mean, I haven't watched him yet, so I'm not putting my thoughts and opinions on this thing. But if he's a linebacker that guys like more than Dean, then like let these dudes drop, man. We need quarterbacks to go high, and we need like what else do we need to go high, Jeff? Let's get into that a little bit. What positions do we need to go high to bump positions down to us? What don't we need?
It depends. Like, do you want the offensive tackles to be there or not? Because if you want something else, offensive tackles, they can push. You could put 5 of them to get pushed up there, right? You get 5 gone by the time you get to 24. We want quarterbacks going. We want Pickett, Willis, Howell, Ritter. I want 4 quarterbacks gone, maybe 5 offensive tackles. That's 9 right there. If you're not too worried about edge guys, you could probably get 4 or 5 of them up there. And now, shoot, we're over halfway home to whoever it is that you're targeting. That's how you get linebackers and interior linemen falling, is all that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is going to be a super front 7 draft, man. Front 7 and offensive lineman. But you know, like I said, if you run, are you looking for like safety or like tight end or anything like that? Like it ain't got to be early, but just like late at some point, just anywhere. Are you looking for safety and tight end at all? Yeah.
Safety, yeah, because obviously safety depends on free agency, right? You could prioritize J-Ron Curse and bring him back. You have Donovan Wilson, but he's all you actually have under contract.
Sure.
I'm interested in bringing Malik Hooker back if he still doesn't have much of a market.
100%.
So, but it all depends on that. Because right now in the safety room, I think it's Donovan Wilson talking to himself.
Sure.
Like he's sitting on a stool by himself, just spinning in circles. Like, where'd everybody go?
One more thing before we get into Supers 2, though, Jeff, and I think this is super important. And we haven't talked about this really. Where does the rest of last year's class fit in? Like guys like Izzy, guys like Semi. We don't necessarily like Josh Ball in this house or whatever, so we look for offensive line. But like guys like that, Nashon, like all that.
I think they don't matter.
Sure.
I think the defensive coordinator who wanted them is going to be gone. And the Nashawn Wright, where I came back and was more measured about it, but still was like, yeah, you shouldn't have taken him there. I just 6'4" corners, man. It's hard. Yeah. It's hard. I don't think Nashawn Wright is going to be a player. Bohanna is the one that I hope is, because I feel like they picked a okay big-bodied run stuffer, hoping he could serve a specific purpose. And by the end of the year, they were kind of like, nah, we like having other guys in there more. Semi, he'll have a chance to make a roster spot for sure with how many receivers will be out the door. But you're not going to go into camp thinking he's going to be a guy that plays wide receiver, are you? I'm not.
Even if those guys pan out to be nothing, that's still 7 out of 11 picks that we hit on. So I feel good about the draft overall. It's just that, is there anybody from last year that's going to make any like, even with we're talking about Nashon, can he at least like be like a kickoff guy or something like that? Special teams,
hopefully. And I still think that Osa started hot, but I think Osa's got a lot to prove in terms of if you want to say that like he's a good starter.
Osa got tired, man. Osa was playing 1,000 snaps a game, and there was no help. Tristan and Neville were nowhere around. That dude's gonna be. Plus, he's gonna get peanut butter. That's what's so crazy about Osa.
Chauncey Golston too is a dude that I think next year, hopefully, he's a dude that steps into the Dorrance snaps and maybe some of Basham snaps and turns into what I think he is, which is a good player.
Osa was like 280, 290 playing
280 in college, yeah.
Playing one tech. When that dude get the peanut butter, man, I got big hopes. We just need to let him rest a little bit. You got some supers over there, Jeff?
I got a couple. Michael Keith Garrett just spitballing. What about a kicker? Zerline sucks. Just kidding on drafting a kicker. I tell you what, I think because the special teams were actually good on the whole.
Yeah.
Bones is going to continue to have the leeway to kind of do what he wants. And because Zerline didn't miss a kick in the last 2 games, before those 2 games, I assumed he'd be gone. Now I bet he's going to talk them into being like, no, Bones is my guy. And my other super chat is from Voch Lombardi. He said, shit. But Jeff. And so thank you to Voch Lombardi. I appreciate you.
Bones Foster, like, he just got the best Adderall in the world, dog. Big Mac dropped 5 in super chat. Appreciate you, sir, just for the love. He ain't had no question, dog. Leonard Sterling didn't have a question either, but he dropped a dime. Gracias. I lied. Big Mac came back with a dime. He dropped in and says, for the party at Jeff's. Jeff love parties. Appreciate you.
Not a party at Jeff's. Not a party at Jeff's. One day I'm going to surprise the hell out of y'all and be like, you're right. There's a party at my house.
I'll be there. If I'm invited. DJ's World dropped a dime and says, defense was clearly the need/focus in last year's draft, but after the season, if you can only draft one side of the ball, after this season, if you can only draft one side of the ball, which one would you choose?
Okay,
defense.
If you were going to use every pick on one side of the ball, I would see if I could do if I could get a receiver, maybe even 2, an offensive lineman, maybe even 2, a tight end, a running back, or would I rather a linebacker, a safety, a D-tack? I think I'd go defense again.
You know, it's interesting. I actually jumped on the YouTube and I said defense doesn't win championships, offense does, and I got tore up for a long ass time.
You just can't suck at defense.
Offense wins championships, though, bro.
For sure.
Like, come on, son. And
look who's still playing.
They got at me with that, bro. But whatever. Yes, I'm petty enough to bring that shit up after a year, but in this case, I'm picking defense because I think that we got enough guys on offense, honestly, and I think our offense is gonna be good. We just need like a regular dude to call play. Like Voch and Jeff can go call plays, we'll be fine with that offense. We won't do dumb shit, I promise. And yeah, just make that defense as top tier as possible, and we'll be good. And I got a super chat from Jeff Cavanago.
Oh, I bet that's
Kavanaugh.
I bet it's Kavanaugh. Yeah,
Kavanaugh. He dropped 5 in the super chat. Said, but Voch what? Jeff, put a question in the chat box so I can get the what. Appreciate y'all for dropping supers in the chat box. Go ahead, brother Jeff. Did you have something else?
What do I do? Oh, Sir Saltines. That's interesting. I love Saltines. He said, I'm looking forward to Jeff having his pizza party player in this draft. Oh yeah, because I drafted us Michael Gallop, and I threw after their second round pick, the Gallop year, right after they made it. Right there on the Dallas Cowboys radio network in front of God and everybody, right after their second round pick. I said, if Michael Gallup makes it to the 3rd round and they pick him, I'm throwing a pizza party.
Did you throw a pizza party?
Hell yes, I did.
You're a good dude.
Hell yes, I did.
Was it Grimaldi's or was it some cheap nonsense?
It was Bar Louie. I had everybody meet me at Bar Louie, and I bought like 10 or 15 pizzas, and we drank beer.
Man, Jeff, you a good ass dude, man. You a good dude. Cause I'd have smooth act like I ain't said that shit, and I wouldn't have bought these bottom feeders. Nothing. Taj Dosanjh.
Taj is good people. Taj is good people.
Love Taj. He dropped 5 and says resign Gallop on the low and trade Coop. Okay, I don't want to trade Coop. But Jeff, let's kind of talk about this a little bit, man, because I think Cowboy Nation kind of overrated the shut out Gallop a little bit. And this not to say Gallop was a bad player, but just Gallop's usage was a little weird. Gallop had some dropsies. They all had dropsies, which was weird. But Gallop really had them for real. He wasn't the number 1 guy. He was a really solid number 2 dude. I'll take that or whatever. But what's your overall thoughts about Gallop, man?
I think if Gallup's injury makes him a dude where you could get him like on a 1 year between 5 and 10 million,
sure.
I would love to see the Cowboys try to make that happen, where it's like, hey, try again to have your breakout year. Because what I like about Gallop and why I don't want Cedric Wilson back. And Cedric, if you're listening, it's not your fault. It's not about you.
He's not gonna be here, dog. He's not gonna be here next year, man. Go ahead. Dog.
I hope you get a huge contract so that the Cowboys get a comp pick.
Comp pick, dog, yeah.
Watching the 49ers game, it drove me nuts that they declared to you that entire game.
Sure.
We know you can't run on us even against 4 guys.
Right.
We know that we can rush the quarterback with 4 guys, and they got a 50% pressure rate with a 4-man rush, highest on the Cowboys all year, even without Nick Bosa.
Sure.
What they were declaring to you is we're playing cover 2, we're playing cover 4. The guys who you're going to be able to throw to are the guys who are on the inside. It's going to be your slot, your tight end, and or your running back. Yeah. And they didn't put CeeDee Lamb there.
Yep.
That I don't want Cedric Wilson on the roster. I want whoever replaces him to be a dude that can play outside, because CeeDee Lamb needs to own the slot. That's his spot.
You're done with CeeDee Lamb as a Z guy.
I don't mind him there at all. I just don't want him to play a grand total of like 2 or 3 snaps in the slot. That's silly to me. But I think the reason that he did play outside all the time when Gallop was out is because they didn't think Wilson could go outside. I want them all to be interchangeable. If there's going to be a guy who is the slot guy, I want it to be CeeDee. I don't want it to be somebody else.
Sure. Because, like, working the seams is just so much better with him. You know, being Yak guy is so much
down
better
the
with
field,
him.
Crossers, breaking tackles, contested balls with somebody near you. Like, that's CeeDee territory.
You know what made me sick, Brother Jeff? And this happened a couple of times, and I hated it. I've seen many screens and bubbles, and there's a lot of different ways you can run them, right? I highlighted 2 plays from the 49ers and from the Cowboys. It was on my Patreon when I did this. And when they was running a screen with Debo, man, Jimmy was about in the middle of the hashes or whatever, and Debo was working back towards Jimmy, and the throw wasn't as long. It didn't travel as long. It got to him. Jimmy was able to get upfield. I hate when we're on the right hash and CeeDee is way wide as hell on the left numbers, and when they run the bubble with CeeDee, all he does is, like, bro, work back to Dak so the ball doesn't travel in the air so long, bro.
You need to take a step forward and sell that you're not running a screen. I don't know.
I'm a regular civilian, Jeff. I don't go to the dentist and be like, you don't have a clue what you're doing. I don't go to a brain surgeon and be like, you don't have a clue what you're doing. I don't go to Gordon Ramsay and be like, this beef Wellington is garbage. You have no clue what you're doing. I can look Kellen right in his face and be like, sir, the first thing they teach you when you go to coach school, they tell you that to beat cover 3, you go short game, and when you run cover 4, you don't go deep into it. Why was we running deep into cover 4, Brother Jeff?
I can't help you. Like Troy Aikman, what he said about him was wrong. Like, he was like, I would have thrown to CeeDee all the time.
Yeah,
he was in single coverage. He was not in single coverage. But if you wanted to say you could have, on a lot of times when they're playing that soft cover 4 and they're showing it, just take the snap and fire that thing out there right now.
Quick game. Yeah.
You could have done that. You could have done some of that. But I wonder if Kellen was gun shy on that because they've been so bad at screens all year that somehow he equated that to being the same thing. And he was like, we've been bad at screens. I want to throw a screen. And I'm like, well, hold on. This one, I'm not asking about who's going to block who. I'm saying give him the rock right now and let him run at that dude.
But Jeff, this another thing that like pissed me off, Jeff. I was watching the film and they lined CeeDee up at like a wing type of deal. I'm like, oh, finally, do this shit. But he blocked. His what? No. I'm sorry. His assignment was to block. He didn't even fucking block nobody. So I was just overall upset with the whole thing, Jeff. I was like, man, I am a civilian. I know a little football. I played, I coached a little bit, but I am a civilian in terms of what you call football intelligence, bro. I feel like I could have done a better job, but I don't want to get on the crybaby Cowboy fans. I don't want to give them a reason to get back upset, brother Jeff. Did you have we had like 45 minutes in. Did you want to take some calls or something, or you got like basketball to watch, or what you doing?
I mean, I got a book to read. I'm doing some things. Let me shout out to Stadius. Spaghetti still ain't aside.
That's Jeff. I love to follow food in Houston on fucking Instagram and shit, right? They just put up, you know what I mean? So it'll give me a place to eat or whatever. I saw this restaurant in Houston, and they had spaghetti as a side, and I wanted to screenshot it and harass everybody on Twitter, including you, everybody on Twitter that told me spaghetti wasn't a side, Jeff. If they serve it at restaurants, the shit counts, Jeff. Spaghetti's a side, sir. Please.
Who would y'all be most upset about if they re-sign? Either Dalton Schultz or Cedric Wilson?
I would be super upset, yeah.
Because once again, if teams are going to dare you to beat them with the guys in the middle, I want the guys in the middle to be my really good players. And Taj, when can Dallas get out of the Zeke deal with that huge dead money? Zeke's contract honestly confuses me because it guarantees a year ahead of time. I got to assume he's been here long enough that after next year you could get out if you want, but ain't nobody trading for that contract, so it's a matter of when you can cut him, I think.
So like, is there an Illuminati theory behind like Tony Pollard and why he wasn't?
I don't have an Illuminati theory because it depends on if people honestly believe, and I don't know if I can honestly believe this, that Jerry Jones is saying who gets to play. Like, it's hard for me to really believe he's doing that and that any coach would allow it. Like, I might be like, okay, thanks, boss man, gotcha, but I don't care. I talked to a human guy, who was in the running back room 2 or 3 of the last 4 years.
Scoutkast exclusive.
And he told me when Garrett was there, even Garrett was like, we got to get Pollard more touches. Skip Pete, when he was the running back coach, was like, we got to get Pollard more touches. Kellen Moore was like, we got to get Pollard more touches. And yet it never happened.
I know why.
And so
I know why.
I don't know. And this guy I talked to also said,
I know why.
Zeke has become like a mature big brother, good teammate, not a selfish player, where like it wouldn't upset him either. So I don't know. I have no idea.
I don't buy that last part. I'm not buying the Zeke thing. I think that Zeke has a certain kind of seniority where they can't tell him what to do. And it was so like the first drive that we scored on was the drive that fucking Tony started on. And when Tony started getting going, Zeke was like, I'm good. Come on back. I'm good. I'm going back in. And he inserts. Zeke can take himself out and put himself back in. I noticed that.
Witten used to do that shit.
Sure. And Zeke being hurt is the prime example of, bro, you can watch the film and you can see the difference. Tony got juice. Zeke ain't even a good power back with it. Like, look, I'm not calling Zeke trash, but if his knee tore up and he's whatever, then he's not the best guy at the time, right? There's no way you can look at Tony and be like, yo, man, we got to get 21 back in there.
No.
It got to be Zeke.
Yeah.
Look, Jeff, you see that? You see, that is spaghetti as a side, sir. That is spaghetti as a side, sir.
At a food truck?
Come on, son.
What a stupid food truck.
Jeff, you crazy as hell.
I don't mean to be negative to any food truck.
Jeff, you crazy as hell.
Incredible living, but spaghetti is not a damn side.
I'm gonna pick a cheat day and go my ass down here and get me some goddamn catfish and spaghetti. What a chat box. I need to see my chat. What's y'all vibes here? Also too, since we talking about that though, brother Jeff. So I think Jarwin is under contract. So is this the Jarwin Sean McKeon show moving forward?
Yes, sir. I believe it is. If you want to draft one, you can draft one, but I think Jarwin just gets his old job back. And they kind of like McEwen. McEwen's your other tight end. And if you want to bring back Jeremy Sprinkle, I bet nobody else in the league cares about him. Sure. Just bring them all back.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, brother Jeff, that's all I got for this edition of Scoutkast. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate everybody coming through, man. We love. You know, we can just rant. We should have a certain day of the week that we show up and do this, but it's just amazing that we can randomly be like, we doing Scoutkast one day, and y'all will show up like y'all show up. So I appreciate y'all for coming through. Please, everybody on my side, Jeff Kavanaugh is trying to be YouTube guy. So Jeff Kavanaugh on YouTube, please go over there, watch all his content. He's getting more into the groove of posting something twice a day. He'll do a post early. He'll do a post early and a damn stream later. You know what I'm saying? So Jeff Kavanaugh on YouTube, please, everybody from my side, go over there and show him some love, man. He got some good shit. He's part of the family now. You know what I'm saying?
thanks Caesar for a great thought to cut Zeke. If it were possible, I'd be on board. Thank you. And this is not a super chat, but yes, I am excited about the Amazon Lord of the Rings story. You damn straight.
Remember one last thing, Jeff, before you.
The Posky Woskies
are
Jeff.
Cool
to everybody. Oski Woskies.
I got a question, Jeff. Wait a minute. Don't leave. I got a question. With this whole Tony Pollard thing, right? Yes, it'll be a mistake to try to give him money because you don't want to give running backs money, right? But Tony Pollard is a guy that he doesn't have a bunch of miles on him, and he's been sitting down chilling for the most part. Do you look at Tony as a guy that you just cut and just draft a new dude, or do you see Tony Pollard as a Austin Eckler type cat where I was just sitting behind Melvin Gordon for years and I still got juice?
If you could get Pollard for what did Eckler get? Like $6 or $7 million a year? Something like that? Yeah. If you could do that, honestly, I'll pay Pollard. Because Pollard's one of the best after catch guys in the league. He's one of the best evasive guys in the league. One of the best, he's really, really good. If you wanted to pay him $6 or $7 million instead of 15, I could keep Pollard around. But for the most part, I want to just find the next guy. But Pollard's really good. He's going to be somebody's Austin Eckler. It's going to happen. He's going to be somebody's running back. He's going to get 5 yards a carry for 1,100 yards. He's going to have 80 catches for 900 yards. He's going to be somebody's stud.
Cool. For sure. Hey, listen. Be nice to everybody, dog. Don't be an asshole, bro, man. You never know what somebody going through, man. They could take your niceness, flip it, and do something for you in the future, man. Not that you should be nice and, expecting something back, but just be nice in general because you just never know, you know what I'm saying? Just be cool to people in this world to be so much better of a place, you know what I'm saying? So appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. All that good shit. Jeff, love you, man.
Oski Woskies and Peasky Wheeskies.